out of bed this instant.
And turn it on. Glenn, Angel, and the Flying Dutchman. The Big Show on Kiss 92.
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome to the biggest and best breakfast show in the world. We are The Big Show, live right now on The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our career strategist, Adrian Choo from Career Agility International.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning to all our Kiss 92 listeners. I'm so excited for our next guest, actually.
Oh, we haven't even
Presidential
started with
hopeful.
you.
Yeah, we're excited to have you.
But then again, I was talking to Adrian earlier
Yeah.
on, and I said, this is perfect. The theme for our 8 o'clock hour, right? Because what Adrian will be talking about today is what makes a great leader. And later when Mr. Ng comes in...
I want to ask him that question.
Yeah, we should.
What he thinks makes a great leader. So, Adrian, what does make a great leader?
Well, I think lots of factors go into the mix. And, if you look at your own careers, your own history, how many great leaders have we actually had as bosses or as people who have worked with? How about yourself, then? Anyone comes to mind? Or what
I've had a few good managers. Okay, of course, in my mind right now, at this
Blank.
stage, at this stage, I know who the best manager was.
Oh.
But then again, I felt like for that manager, right, it was hard for him to be a great leader outside of our department, so to speak, because he still had other bosses above him.
Yeah, to answer to.
So my question here is that, if you're a great leader, if you're a great manager, does that make you a great leader?
But leaders have leaders as well, right? Don't leaders have their own leaders?
They do, and I would say that but you can lead your little patch, even if you've got a small team.
Okay.
If you're a great leader, you inspire, you lead, and you make people better than what they already are. So I think that's one of the traits of being a great leader. And today we're talking about it because it's not just about us reminiscing all the great leaders we've had, but how do we become great leaders in our own little patch or big patch?
Yeah, I was tricked. Can I just tell you?
sure.
I was tricked once upon a time. I just say this right here, and then we don't talk about this anymore.
Okay.
So sometime back, right, I had this manager whom I thought was a great manager, right? But then I find out that there was somebody else behind this person, right? Who was telling this person exactly how to go about managing.
But you know
what I
what?
mean?
Even if they had a mentor, so to speak, they still had to make the decision
and delegate all the
I don't think that takes away from them being a good manager.
Well, then the person becomes a robot. Right?
You're like a puppet, right? Like a puppet.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, puppet.
Puppet,
That's right.
yeah. But I was going to ask you, are leaders born or are leaders made?
Well, I think it's a bit of both, but you need to be born with leadership skills to have that patience for it, to have the guts. And a good leader also is made because if it isn't put through the crucible of fire, the test of fire, right? You won't be you might be a good leader, but you may not be a great leader. And, it's from my experience, the great leaders I've had were largely those who were forged in fire, and they had lots of very painful journeys, but they came out stronger, and therefore they can relate better to us and lead.
Okay, let's continue to talk to Adrian on The Big Show TV. Here's Khalid with Softest Touch on Kiss 92, all the great songs in one place.
Which reminds me of that saying, rise and rise until lambs become lions, right? Remember from that movie?
Which movie?
It was The Lion King, I think.
No, it's from the
No.
Russell Crowe movie.
Right.
Rise and
Gladiator?
rise.
Lambs to Lion. Lambs to
you
Lion.
remember
I think that's the
Lambs?
one. The one in
Robin Hood.
Yes, that's right. Robin Hood.
Robin Hood?
One of the Robin Hoods.
Yeah, which starred
Prince
Russell
of Thieves?
Crowe.
No,
No, Prince of Thieves was Kevin
Costner. So just Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Kevin
Rise and rise.
Costner as Robin Hood.
Yeah, that was the original
with
one.
a fake British accent.
Okay. Was it obvious? Anyway, that's besides the point.
Yeah,
Okay. Do you think that a leader and a mentor are two different things, or they can be one and the same?
I think a leader can be a good mentor. I think the other bigger question is like what you were saying. You had great managers before as well.
Yeah.
So is a leader a good mentor, or is a good manager a leader? So I think it's all perspective. A mentor is someone whom you can coach, who can show you the way and coach you. But if you're looking at a manager, so manager is someone who just manages the business.
Yeah.
Whatever's necessary, he gets stuff done.
So he's not necessarily a leader of people. He manages operations and stuff like that, like tasks.
Yeah.
and all
I think
that.
a leader is
Yeah.
someone who basically is able to provide direction, to rally people together, especially in times of crisis, to provide vision, to provide the encouragement.
Yeah.
And maybe just provide a growth mindset instead of a fixed mindset. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
I think it's getting harder, no?
Of course.
It's getting harder because, like, okay, you're managing like a bunch, right?
Yeah.
But then, there are people above you. Let's say if I'm a manager, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm managing my team really, really well. But then I'm getting like directives from the people at the top.
Yeah.
So I gotta pick my battles as well.
Yes.
I might not agree to everything that's
Yeah.
being asked of me, right? But I have to pick my battles.
Yeah.
And then
Because
you
I know
got
in
to
order
filter,
to get
right,
yeah.
as well, some of the
So,
stuff.
so that becomes very hard. Is that politics?
Actually, it kind of is, and I think it's
Everything is politics.
Everything is, right? Isn't it?
Yeah.
It all boils
How do you
down to-
manage that, though?
And that's a tricky thing because what I always believe, a good manager is someone who doesn't just manage the team, he has to manage up. He's got to manage his bosses.
Yeah.
And to the point where he manages his bosses so that his team members don't have to manage 2 levels above. In the army, we call it air cover, basically. He
Right.
provides air cover for his staff, lets his staff do what
He's
they
basically
need to
the
do.
front line, the wall.
Yeah.
that-
Yeah, the wall that blocks
Protects
the
rest of the team.
Yeah, the rest of the team from he clarifies. from fire coming from above.
Yeah.
So he lets the troops do what they need to do. But if there's interference or if there are things that they need clearance from the higher ups, he manages the process.
But that's why hierarchy is so important, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to seek permission as well as someone who is maybe at the bottom,
Yeah.
you need to do the next up and not go two levels up.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that puts
and
the...
it's a skill, isn't it?
It is,
Yeah.
because that puts your immediate leader or your boss in jeopardy as well.
Exactly.
Right?
And I think if you like your immediate leader, your manager or whatever, you need to show him that you appreciate him or her.
And that
And
respect.
you need to look out for him or her.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if that person gets discouraged and resigns,
Yeah.
then you are in trouble.
Of course,
Yes,
as well.
yeah.
because
Because
you
this
don't have
person
that
looks out for you.
protection.
Exactly.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
person looks out for you.
I
So
also, I also think that leaders have to lead by example in that they also need to be a team player, right? Because so like we're talking about higher ups, they are the ones that have that vision and they are looking at different things
From a
They're
helicopter
focused-
point of view.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So they are not leading
Correct.
the team because they're the directive, and then
And
so
I think a very good example would be like managing a football club.
Yeah.
Like, a manager, like, for example, Jose Mourinho,
Yeah.
who will want to do everything on his own. But then he has people, like when he was managing Manchester United, right? They did not allow him
To
to
do
do
what
what
he
he
want-
wanted to
yeah.
do. But he's been proven time and time again
He
to
knows
be an
what he's
awesome
doing.
manager,
Yeah.
right?
That's why it's that's why sometimes managing up is a skill. And I like what you said just now, Glenn, about taking care of your bosses. I think we need to protect the interest of our bosses, of our managers, of our leaders. One of the important ways to do it is to make him look good. Okay, you get your stuff done, the work that you do, make him look good.
Yeah.
And one of the things I always believe is that if you encounter a problem, a potential issue or challenge, say a customer finds a cockroach leg in his meal or something like that, and then you tell him beforehand, before he hits the press, before his boss hears about it. So always preempt bad news to your boss. Let him know, because you look really ridiculous and stupid if suddenly
he
he gets
doesn't
called
know.
up by the big boss and go, hey, I heard about this incident. And, oh, what incident?
So keeping him informed of
Keeping him
everything
in the
that's
loop.
happening on the ground.
Yeah, especially if it's not good stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
Well, I just think that transparency and also like making your staff or whoever is working with you feel safe and comfortable enough to
Yes.
be transparent will also help you become a better leader too, right?
Yeah,
like it's
yeah.
a good indication that you're doing something right.
Yeah, and I think being authentic and caring as well is a very important trait of a great leader. I mean, a lot
Compassionate.
of people are leaders, but to be a good leader versus a great leader,
Yeah.
the compassion is very important, because one of the things I always believe in is people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Very
that.
true.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah,
that.
I love that statement.
Yeah,
Traffic.
yeah. I'm almost coming up to my 30th year, right? Doing the same thing. And let me just tell you, I've had some shit managers. Oh, my goodness.
Some shit leaders.
Yeah. Okay, I won't say
Aiyo.
this on air. Okay.
I'm a sucker for you. I'm a sucker for you.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Just one situation. This is on the PIE towards Tuas after Jalan Baha. A vehicle has broken down there. Wherever you are, do stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. We're having fun
We
discussing the topic of, great
Leadership.
leadership with Adrian Choo from Career Agility International.
And I have an impossible question for you, Adrian.
Yes, go for
Who
it.
makes a better leader, women or men?
Had to be you.
Of
no?
course.
It had to be
So
you.
there's some technical
talk-
difficulty with the mic now.
If Yen were here, she'd immediately answer that question. But I
Can you imagine Adrian? FD's not around. I'm here with how many?
He's
You're
surrounded.
outnumbered. That's why
But
I'm
so
so
far, so good.
And you're so
I'm gonna give you
happy,
support
right?
today. He's outnumbered. Well, I think it's not so much a gender thing.
Okay.
I think it's politically correct. It's not so much a gender thing.
It's a character thing.
But I
It's a
agree with
character
you.
thing.
I agree with
it's
you.
a gender thing. I think my greatest leader I've ever had was this lady called Dr. Dinah Young. She was an entrepreneur and she ran her own aerospace company.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, but she passed away about 18 years ago.
Okay.
And at a very young age of 46. So, she was one of the best leaders I've ever had.
Why do you say she was a good leader?
Because she was very authentic. She cared about people, literally. There was a story about one of her interns who interned with her for about 2 or 3 months. And then he came back and he asked her to, when he was going to university, he asked her to be a guarantor for his university school fees because he was not able to afford it. Right. Apparently she paid for it and she told him don't tell anyone. So this is the first time on air, probably it's out there, but she said don't tell anyone.
She didn't want the credit.
No, so this is genuine, authentic care.
But you can't make someone care.
You
Yeah,
can't.
yeah,
It's
absolutely
come
not.
from the heart, right?
Yeah.
You
genuine.
can't
That's
make
why-
someone compassionate.
That's why people will charge up the hill and die for a great leader.
Yeah.
Someone who's willing to do that for you.
Yeah, and you know that, and that's well. In that case, wouldn't you say that that's something that can't be taught, or do you think you can grow into being someone that cares?
I don't think you can. I mean, to me
Right.
personally,
Yeah, I
you
think
can't.
you can. I mean, it's got to come from within. That's why the
Yeah.
authenticity element has to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go around and tell everyone that what a great person you are, but when the cameras are off, and then someone's going to catch you doing something
Exactly.
Right.
not nice.
Yes.
Yeah, not authentic.
Disingenuous.
Word for the day.
Yeah, because certain skills can be taught. Being more patient.
Yeah.
But compassion, I don't think can
Yeah.
be taught at all.
Yeah, that's true.
And I think a lot of it has got to do with upbringing as well.
Yeah.
The values.
Yeah.
That one learns, during their formative years.
Yeah, I want to say you can't blame the parents for everything, but the parents are responsible for a lot.
Absolutely.
That is
You
True.
know, a
And-
family home.
Yeah, and I think that what you were saying about having to go through difficult times in order to be a good leader, I think that also will end up giving you compassion because
Yeah.
when you go through something like that, you learn to have empathy for the people in your team or the people that you're mentoring or leading, right?
Absolutely. Let's continue this conversation on The Big Show TV. It is 8:13.
Kiss 92 time check.
He's here? He's in?
Don't know. There are lots of
Yes,
women
yes.
that are here.
I mean, obviously, he is here.
Fanboying,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm sure
Look at Glenn, he's so happy.
The camera crew is here.
Oh.
They got their own camera crew. Okay, where were we? Oh, yes.
So
Adrian
leader,
Choo.
yeah, leaders.
I'm
Going
glad
through.
you remembered my name.
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
fanboying.
I wanted to ask, how important is it for a leader to delegate? Because a leader can have a lot on his shoulder, and he can brown out and then burn out eventually, right? So how important is it to delegate?
I think it's critical. One of my feelings as a leader is, in my younger days was I was a control freak.
So micromanaging.
Micromanaging. I didn't trust people. And I had this stupid policy where if I got to teach someone to do something and I spend 6 hours teaching him to do something, I
You
might
might
as
as
well do
well
it
do it
myself.
yourself.
and
Yeah.
manage, right?
Yeah.
But they do say, if you give a man a fish, he can eat for a day. If you teach him how to fish, he can eat for the
For a
rest of his
lifetime,
life.
Yeah, that's
But
why
but I get what you're saying. Like for me, I'm not really a leader, but like I own my own company and I
Yeah.
make my own music, so I'm the one hiring everyone. But there's this like distrust when I've given a task and it's not done, or it takes a long time to be done
and you
well.
look at it and say, I could have done that myself.
Yeah,
But that's a skill that can be learned.
That's a skill,
Delegation, right?
And I think it's important for us to realize that we need to delegate because the whole idea of leadership is one about scaling your capabilities. I mean, there's only so much you can do as one person.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you want to
Definitely.
grow bigger, you have to start trusting people.
That's right.
Yes.
But that's my
it's
So
hard.
style.
Angel, you do traffic. Daphne, you do
See?
weather.
Delegate,
Okay. Yes.
Delegator.
And then at the
Delegation.
start, since FD's not around, you do the poll.
Okay, yes.
There you go.
Yes, Glenn is very used to delegating.
We're stopping short of saying you're a fantastic leader.
Oh,
But you are, though.
Wow.
You
Well,
are,
no,
you
what's
are,
that?
Glenn.
No, but you are, though. You're a good leader.
Yeah.
You
Okay,
are.
group hug.
Virtual group hug, yeah.
Okay.
But you are, Glenn. I think you're a great
Aw.
mentor too.
Yeah.
So
Thank you,
I'm.
thank you.
There
Yeah.
you go. He was looking for
I
that,
love
but
all
yes.
of you.
He's so bad with compliments. That's
He
why
is.
all the whole Asian community. You say you look nice, and they're like, no,
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 la,
no.
la, la,
No,
la,
not
la.
today. I just did my
So,
hair. Do you like it?
Yeah, but you have to. I guess you have to find that balance, right?
Yeah.
Like being able to delegate, but also making sure your team can match, and that takes time for them to match your expectations.
It does. It does. And that requires a lot of trust as well. And a lot of times, that's why it helps if you put good people in your team into the right roles and just let them run.
yeah.
And
But-
just check in on them.
Expectations, though. What kind of expectations should be set? As a leader, because if you have an expectation, nothing gets done, you're disappointed, and what?
Why are you laughing?
You need to share them.
Okay. Are we on the Big Show TV? We
Yes,
are, right?
yes,
okay,
we
okay.
are.
I'm going to show and I'm
Oh.
going to see her reaction.
no.
Okay.
Okay. Glenn is showing Angel.
Oh, how cute
Is
is
it
that?
a meme?
We need to flash that on the Big Show
Is it
TV
a
later.
meme?
No, it's not.
Okay.
We need
He's
to
gonna
flash
show
that.
Adrian now. I feel left out.
We need to flash that on the Big Show
Wow,
TV
okay,
later.
okay.
What?
Deathmatch.
That's our general manager, Mr. Sim Hong Huat, by the way.
We'll share this with you later.
Oh, wow.
Once Mr. Ng Kok Song comes in, we'll share this with you later.
Do you want a match, Glenn?
Oh my goodness.
Would you like a match?
Maybe later. Maybe
Yeah,
later.
maybe later.
This is
We
so
got a
cool.
sneak preview of it.
I think I can say it. Coming up, we'll have presidential hopeful Mr. Ng Kok Song.
Yeah.
And, he's been welcomed today by our general manager, Mr. Sim Hong Huat. I do believe Andre, our content strategist, is out there as well. But our general manager is playing foosball with our presidential hopeful.
Isn't that cool?
It's so cute.
So that's what we were talking about, right? Like a good leader should be able to relate to everyone
yeah.
and be on the ground
Yeah.
while being authentic.
Yeah. That's
You
right.
know?
And what do you? Okay, if I may ask, what do
Sure.
you think are good qualities for our next president?
Oh wow! I think, but technically speaking, he has to know the numbers and everything.
Well, what must be he?
Must be he.
Uh-huh.
Because right now they're only
They have to know.
Right now they're only he's. In
Oh,
the
that's
running.
right. Okay,
They're only
fair
he's
enough,
running.
fair enough.
So, I think technically speaking, he needs to be very good with the numbers and understand it. I think he needs to have the heart of the people, because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's a figurehead.
Yeah.
He needs to love the people, and the people need to love him.
He needs to have the heart of the people. I like
Yeah,
that.
I think that's really important, because if you and therefore that's why I believe we have to go for a vote.
Yeah, of course, of course.
It cannot be just a walkover, because if you really want to have the mandate of the people.
Yeah, and you want to know that the
Absolutely.
people are behind you,
Yeah.
so that you don't feel like you need to micromanage.
That's right. That's
Because
right.
if we all trust each other, but then that's the biggest thing, right? Being able to form trust,
Yeah.
all around. It's
Yeah.
something that takes time.
It takes time.
Yeah.
I mean, but we're talking about leadership. We have presidential hopeful coming in, a leadership of a country. I mean, that must be a massive task.
But
To-
to be
to
fair, it's more a figurehead
It is
rather
a
than
figurehead.
administrative.
Yeah, of course, that I know,
But
yeah.
nonetheless, you're right. You're still
You still got responsibilities.
Yeah, when you are representing the country
In front of the
in front of
world.
the world, when
Yeah.
foreign dignitaries come in,
Yep.
But you see,
or-
I don't even know whether it's right to say that. no.
What?
That our president is a figurehead.
He is a figurehead, though.
No,
The
I'm-
prime minister is the
Yeah,
administrative.
I know, but
You
it
can be
almost-
more. You
it-
can be also other things,
it-
including the figurehead.
Yeah, it almost feels like
This-
wrong.
this is a
Look,
placeholder.
if I'm president,
Yeah.
okay, of Singapore,
Okay, what would you do?
someone says I'm a figurehead,
what will you do?
I
Slap?
will hit
Okay,
the
oh,
guy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
See,
so
that's
Glenn,
exactly
no.
the kind of behavior presidents should not.
So Glenn,
Hey,
if you
because
were
my surname is Ong.
Glenn, if you were the president, what's the first thing you would do?
Oh dear.
Oh, yeah. Do
Wow.
you want to hear this?
You know,
I don't have enough time. I don't have
yeah, I've
anything
never
about
thought
this.
about it. I'm the kind of guy, right, that eases into things.
Okay.
Like rather slowly. I like to observe
I know what
my
you do.
surroundings and then maybe.
I know what
Angel,
you're doing.
Angel.
There's currently a 7-hole golf course, right?
That is true. That
You
is
put
true.
an 18-hole golf course in the Istana.
I'm gonna go. Okay, what is this? Okay, the Istana. This is the Istana. Okay, why do we only have 7 holes?
Yeah, so we need
Okay.
to have 18 holes.
Well, at least 9 holes. Let's build 2 more.
Yeah,
holes.
why 7? It's
I
so
have no
odd.
idea.
Okay, yeah.
We can ask.
We'll ask him. We'll ask
Mr.
him.
Ng
Yeah.
as well, because I'm sure Mr. Ng will know.
And he plays golf.
Because he spent, some time with our founding father,
Lee Kuan Yew, yes.
Lee Kuan Yew as
Yes.
well, right?
Yes.
And so you
Yeah.
knew that? Did you know
No,
that?
I didn't know
He did.
that.
He
He did.
taught Lee Kuan Yew to meditate.
Meditation.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, that I read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Really,
I'm
really-
sure he's been on the Istana grounds,
Yeah.
and I know this for a fact that Mr. Ng also plays golf.
Yep, there you go.
So maybe he'll know wwhy there are only 7 holes.
Maybe that's
at
the first
Istana.
thing he's going to do. I'm going to put those 2 extra holes
Exactly.
and even it out. Like, who has 7?
Okay, we're going back on it.
All right.
Kiss 92 traffic.
Quite a bit happening on the MCE towards the ECP before the Maxwell Road entrance. Avoid the right lane. A vehicle's broken down. Also on the PIE towards Tuas after the Stevens Road exit. Same situation. And on the CTE towards the AYE after the PIE Changi exit. Another vehicle has broken down. Wherever you are today, stay safe.
Welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Early on, you heard Little Boots with Remedy.
Such a great
The
song.
funny thing here is that, don't you think it's such a coincidence?
Why?
Like when I look at the words Little Boots, or at least Boots, I think of the pharmacy. And
Yes, okay,
pharmaceutical
Boots. Okay,
companies.
okay.
And then Remedy.
And then it's Remedy.
I love Boots.
I
by the
love
way.
Boots
I love
too.
Boots. Like, I would go to any Boots I see.
I think it's also because it's very affordable, right? 'Cause it's in,
Yeah, I
like,
think
I
so.
love high
Thailand.
boots on women.
It-
Oh, that's
boots,
different. That's different.
But
Boots.
those
Oh,
are little
okay.
boots. I think they're talking about ankle
Little
boots.
boots.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or booties.
Like-
Booties. Booties.
Like
you
what
like
elves-
booties?
elves wear.
Okay, never mind. Yeah, like
Little clogs. Okay.
Wow.
sidetracking.
So we were
sidetracking.
digressing a little bit. Okay, so let's get back to great leadership. Well, it's Mr. Ng is coming in very soon. Already.
Yeah,
Is
he's
that
already
Shana?
here. Yeah.
Okay.
Playing
so he's
foosball
already
outside.
here. So okay, let's turn things around because we were talking about great leaders at the workplace and all that. Okay, so since Mr. Ng is coming in and he's presidential hopeful, right?
Yeah.
He's going to be a leader
Yes.
as well. So, what kind of leader should he be? I mean,
No.
because you mentioned early on, right, that over the years, I mean, the president here in Singapore is a figurehead. Would it be advisable for him to be a little bit more than that?
Well, I think the Constitution doesn't allow him to be anything more
Yeah.
than that. But, however, I think one of the most important things that need to be done is that the world is becoming increasingly polarized. You know, the left versus the right, the conservative versus the... So I think the role of a leader of a state especially is to be the person who can reach across and, make us remember that at the end of the day, we're all Singaporeans.
Yeah.
And, apart from our differences, we have even more in common with each other.
Right.
And be the unifying force that is free from being biased from one way or the other. So I think to be one of the key things, one of the key aspects of this role is to be someone that can rally and unify the whole country. So I think that's very important.
Yeah, I like that.
Wow.
Giving the people confidence that
Yeah.
we're all in unison. We're making good decisions together.
We are above politics, we are above religion, we are above race.
All that is
Yeah.
put aside.
We are just Singaporeans,
Yeah,
and
we're
how do
all
we
humans.
become better and how do we make a society a better place? And I think that's where I love the whole concept of having a president to handle the things that, because the Prime Minister and his cabinet handles the heavy lifting of the work.
Yeah.
This one handles, this role handles
the harmony
heart.
and everything.
Yeah,
else.
the heart of
so
the
it's
people.
a fantastic.
So in many
I like
ways,
that.
it is very important for the president to be able to work hand in hand with the government.
Of course.
Because if not, it's just gonna inconvenience everyone.
It's a balance.
You know what I mean?
It's a
you
balance
don't
that's
want an
needed.
adversarial person coming
Exactly.
in and
Yeah.
right,
like
so
like rebelling and
Yeah.
Or
you know,
someone that's too
arguing
quiet and
stuff
not
like that.
doing anything. It
Yeah.
needs to be a fine
Yeah,
balance
fine
between
balance,
the two.
fine balance. So I think that's tough. I think the person will grow into the role.
Yeah,
They have to grow into the role. It's
Right.
not an easy role.
Interesting
Okay.
times ahead.
yeah.
All right. Any last words before we let you go? But of course, please stick around. Okay?
I'll stick around. Yeah, I'll stick around. Well, I think for all of us out there who are planning to be leaders, I think there are lots of good materials in the bookshops or even online. You can just go on YouTube to just Google how do I be a good leader. Simon Sinek has a fantastic book called Leaders Eat Last.
Yeah.
If you're too lazy to read it,
he has
there are
podcasts
lots of
as
videos
well.
and
Yeah.
podcasts out there. So,
He's
so let's
fantastic.
watch it. And National Day weekend's coming up. So everyone just enjoy yourself. Go get all your red t-shirts out and get ready for a long week of celebration next week.
Yeah,
It's gonna be
for sure.
brilliant.
It's
For
gonna be
sure.
fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
So exciting.
Thank you so much, Adrian.
Thank you, Adrian, for
Okay.
joining us this morning. Once again, we've been talking about great leadership with Adrian Choo from Career Agility International. Up next, presidential hopeful Mr. Ng Kok Song.
The road to the Astana.
Go big or
Oh, we're still on.
Okay. Yeah, we're still on.
Well, I got something about
Okay, let's. We'll see you guys later. We're gonna say hello to Mr. Ng and welcome in. Mr. Ng.
This is Angel. So lovely to meet you. I love that you're in our pink colors. Thank you for wearing.
It's not really pink.
It's a red and pink.
So nice to meet you. Can I borrow one of your butters?
Hi, Mr. Ng, I'm Daphne. Nice to meet you.
Wonderful.
And this is Adrian Chu, our career strategist.
Nice to meet
Are you going to help me?
Where do I sign up?
Thank you so much for
Sign up
coming.
first with this show.
It's a good start. We'll show you your seat over
All
here.
right, okay, very good.
We saw you playing foosball with our general manager early on.
Yes, I love it.
Jennifer,
So,
nice to
Mr.
meet you.
That's your camera there. You see bottom right?
Yes.
That's your camera. Your fans are all watching you there. This is your microphone. If you can put your headphones on, you'll be able to hear everything that
By the time I
happens.
joined, right?
If it's too loud, just
I'm sure you
toggle
will.
this,
Alright,
yeah?
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
As soon as it's softer. So that's later. Whenever this is on means the microphone's on. So don't swear, don't scold anybody, don't say anything you don't want to hear.
So now it's on,
It's
microphone.
on, but it's not going on air. But we are on Facebook.
93.
Okay.
So you can say hello already.
Hello, good
We're
morning.
already live. We're already
Good
live.
morning, Singaporean.
Don't say that loud.
Good morning.
Everyone's very excited for you to be here.
Y'all can hang out there at the end, and one person can sit
The
here.
studio is big enough. Big enough.
One person can sit here, but not on air.
You won't be
No,
on.
no,
you won't be on camera.
Then
You can just.
You want to sit here?
Yeah,
Hi,
why not?
Angel. Angel, hi, Angel. I recognize you.
Hello, everybody.
Oh, come, you
Go
can
ahead.
sit here.
Good morning, I'm Daphne.
We're already.
Everyone can stay in here. It's
Yeah,
big
yeah,
enough.
for sure.
The house is big enough.
We're already live on Facebook.
Great,
Yeah.
very
So
good.
you can say hello to everybody. Good morning.
Mr. Ng, everybody.
So we can put your headphones
Good
on.
morning, good morning. Thank you all. Thank you all for giving me your attention.
Okay, so we are on Facebook now, but we're gonna go on air on radio in about 2 minutes. But we can chat first. Thank you so much for coming in, Mr. Ng.
Wonderful to be here.
It's so good to see you.
I've been looking forward to this. This is the most fun part of my presidential election campaign.
Is this your first radio interview so far?
Yes.
Oh
yes.
yay, we're the first.
I reserved this slot for you.
Oh, so sweet.
So I said, I
So
gotta get Mr.
honored.
Ng on. I gotta get him on. Made a
Yes.
few phone calls and thank
We
goodness.
must say, Glenn has been the most excited to have you in.
Well,
he
I
just
think
keep looking
he
out the
was hoping that I
window.
will give him some golf lessons.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to be
But-
talking about golf, actually.
Yes,
You know,
a little
um,
bit, a little bit.
about
But
golf.
I'm afraid I'm going to disappoint him
Oh,
because I
wow.
don't think I'm as good as him.
Oh no! Glenn is
Apparently-
terrible.
Horrible
Yeah,
golfer.
apparently Glenn is not very
Glenn is
good.
terrible.
So.
His
Many-
numbers are still up there. So
That's true, that's true.
Your handicap,
21
is it?
handicapper still.
What?
21.
21.
what are
Yes.
you?
I played to 18 handicap.
Oh, okay,
Like
okay.
the
there
rest
you
of
go.
my
You know,
friends
they
are
say
around there.
18 is a good handicap
Okay.
because
Okay.
if you are worse than 18, people have to suffer you on the golf course.
Is that what you're putting your friends
But
through?
if your handicap is very low, let's say 9,
Yeah.
That means
Then
you're
very stressful.
you're playing too much
Too much
golf.
golf. Then you might as well be a professional, right?
So 18 is the
best
golden number.
Yeah,
It's the
yeah, I'm
golden
working
number.
towards
You're
that.
Close.
I'm working
You're
towards
very
that.
close.
It's
Yeah,
optimum.
a lot of my kakis, like my two golf kakis, right? Glenford and Kevin, they're both around 18 right now.
Okay.
So I hope to get there. But then again, I've only been playing golf for 6 years.
Only.
Yeah, I only just started when I joined SPH.
You look shocked. Should he be better by now?
I see.
He should be better by now. That's all he does, you know.
I'll be better next year, I promise. I'll be 18 next year, and I will let you know.
Okay, we're
Yes.
going on air in 20 seconds.
Okay, stand by. We're on the Big Show TV
We're on
as
the
well.
Big Show
Okay,
TV.
Mr. Ng. Okay, stand by. Jungkook featuring Lato right here on Kiss 92. All the great songs in one place. That was a track called Seven.
A track
The
that
Man-
Angel definitely knows.
I do know it. I do know it. Yes, of course I do. I was just joking earlier. Yes.
All right, the man is in the studio. He is our presidential hopeful, Mr. Ng Kok Song.
Thank you very much. Glenn.
Thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
us, Mr. Ng. Okay, we just the first question right out there because we just had Adrian Choo talk about career strategies as he
Yes.
does every Thursday, and we were talking about leadership. So, first question for the morning: what makes a great leader?
From my experience,
Yeah, from your experience.
I think there are three critical qualities for leadership. The number one quality is what I call it's not about you, it's about us. In other words, teamwork. So the leader must not think that what he does is just about himself.
Right.
That is the ego. So he's always got to bear in mind that leadership is a responsibility. All right, it's not an exercise of power. All right, so you're responsible for others. Right? You're responsible for the people who work with you. You're responsible for your clients. And so, in terms of the presidential elections, leadership is about the people of Singapore. So that's the first quality, I think.
Yeah.
The second quality is you must have the will and the determination to lead. People look to you as a leader, so you must set the direction. You must have the will to lead. You know, and then the third quality is what I would call clarity of vision. To be very clear, because when you are leading an army or you're leading an organization, you do not want to see the leader being confused.
Yeah.
course,
So very clear. Yeah.
So clarity of vision. So these are the three qualities.
Wow.
Okay, I like
Looks like you
that.
had that in your back pocket.
Of
you,
course.
you didn't even know the questions.
I always try to remember those three things.
That's
wherever
amazing.
I am.
And whatever you do.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so we wanted to talk. We were talking a little bit on the Big Show TV about golf. Because Glenn's life, besides the show, is all
It's
about
really
golf.
awful,
Yes.
yeah.
So I think like a question that we may ask is, if you become president,
Yes.
will you put an extra 2 holes in the
The
Istana
Istana.
golf course? Because right now there's 7 holes.
We hear there's a 7-hole golf course.
So we're wondering what
Is that
happened
true?
to the other
Is
2
it-
holes.
Is that true?
7 holes is enough to play golf.
Oh, all right.
You can always go round and round.
And then make it 14 and 21.
You can make it
It's
as
not-
many
it's-
as you
it's-
want.
It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing for visitors coming into the Istana to see that the president spends the whole day playing golf.
But golf is such a strategic game.
Strategy.
Yeah, it is good, but in moderation.
Okay.
So
Not a priority.
I myself, I play golf. I love to play golf. But I try to play golf maximum twice a week, 9 holes of golf.
Right.
Okay. All
Okay,
right. Okay.
okay.
And I try to maximize the use of it because I get to see my friends and then I get to exercise.
Yes.
Because I walk the golf course.
Nice.
I don't take the buggy.
Yeah.
You know, so
Glenn's trying to
I
do that
strap
too.
my golf clubs behind me.
On your back, you don't
Oh,
even
you don't have a
trolley them?
I don't want to because
Wow.
because if you can sling the bag behind you, it keeps your back straight.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it helps in your
Oh.
posture.
Oh my goodness.
Very strategic.
And now they have very good golf bags where it's balanced. It's more
Very
balanced.
good.
you know,
Ergonomic.
As opposed to just one side. But you're absolutely right. I think that's the reason why they started at 7 holes. Because back in the day when Mr. Lee Kuan Yew used to play golf, I think that was part of his exercise routine as well before he started swimming.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
he can walk 7 holes. I mean,
Easily.
that's a reasonable
right,
workout.
yes.
That's about 7,000 steps.
Okay.
6 to 7,000
Wow.
steps. That's pretty good.
It's like 1,000 a hole.
And
okay.
walking is a very good exercise,
Yes.
you know, and it puts less strain on your legs.
Yes.
And I find that when I'm walking on the golf course, it's an opportunity for you to be in solitude. You know, you can walk the course, and actually I do what we call walking meditation.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we've heard
Yes,
you
about
meditate
meditation.
quite
You're
a
very
bit.
big
Usually
on
you should
meditation.
sit down to meditate.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But you use every opportunity you have.
Absolutely.
So when you're walking or jogging, you know, so use it as an opportunity to be silent.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and to just walk or jog mindfully.
Because
Yeah,
meditation
I
can
love
be
that.
done anywhere, right? I mean, as long
Yes.
as you have a focus,
That's right.
right? Whether it's your breathing or your footsteps or anything, as long as
Okay,
you're
Mr.
focused,
Let's
right?
continue this conversation on the Big Show TV. We've got a song that you've chosen, actually. You've chosen From a Distance by Bette Midler.
Yes,
Tell
I
us
love
why.
this
Why,
song.
why have you
Why
chosen this song?
Well, if you listen to the lyrics of From a Distance, it is how God sees the world
Wow.
from a distance. So how does, you might say, the creator of the universe, how does he see all of us?
Yeah.
He sees all of us as one. We are all his
As one
children.
moving parts.
He doesn't see divisions. He doesn't see war, you know. So that is how, it's what we call the divine perspective.
Wow.
I love that. I love
So
that.
it's about the unity of people.
People. There's one
And
people.
I
yeah.
chose that because one of the president's role is to unify the people of Singapore.
Yes.
Brilliant.
Nicely done. Nicely
All right,
done.
here's Bette Midler, From a Distance. We are with Mr. Ng Kok Song right here on Kiss 92.
That's a great
Nice.
song.
Yeah, I like the
And a
tie
good-
back to
We've
that.
got we've got 2 more songs that Mr. Ng has chosen.
we do.
Along the way, we'll play those songs.
So speak a little bit about meditation. I mean, like, what got you into it?
I started to meditate when I was 40 years old.
Okay.
And when you are 40 years old, you enter a period of what we might call the midlife crisis. You know, the midlife crisis, in terms of questioning what is the meaning of life? Why are we here? Why are we here? Are we here just to make a living? You know, or is there a deeper purpose? You know. So when you reach that stage of life, especially when you are reasonably comfortable, you've got a good job, you've got enough money to live on, then you look for the higher goals of life. You know. So that was what happened to me. You know, I want to ask deeper questions, and ultimately, I think if you practice meditation and you go deeper within yourself, you will realize that the purpose of life is really to love and be loved. That is
I think
the
down to our
deepest
core.
experience.
Yeah.
Yes, you know, but in order to come to that realization, you got to go deep within yourself. Why? Because when you go deep within yourself, you forget yourself. You know, you have to let go of all your thoughts, your ideas, your desires, your problems. In other words, you switch from being self-centered to other-centered. And when you are other-centered, that is love.
Right.
You care for others. You think of things in terms of others, not just about yourself, you see. So I found that meditation helped me, you know, at a very crucial stage of my life.
Oh,
Right.
wow. Okay.
We should get you to teach us how to meditate one of these
Yes,
days.
for
as
sure.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I'd be delighted
speaking
to.
of teaching, you also taught Mr. Lee Kuan Yew
How to
how
meditate.
to meditate, right?
Yes, yes.
I mean, was he at the crossroads as well? Was he seeking something like a midlife crisis? Was he
No,
going
Mr.
through
Lee
that?
shared with me that he wanted to meditate because he was at a very late stage in his life. And he wanted to enter into this, stage of his life with as much serenity and clarity as possible. So he says, "Can you teach me?" So I was very delighted to be asked for by Mr. Lee Kuan Yew. Because my whole professional life, I was working at the GIC. He was the chairman of the board. I was the chief investment officer. So it was a very professional interaction. But when he asked me to go and sit down and meditate with him, it was as though I was the teacher.
You were,
you were
and he
his
was a
meditation
student.
mentor.
You introduced meditation to him.
You were
And
leading him.
That was such an incredible experience for me because Mr. Lee was probably my best student.
Wow.
Because I've shared meditation with many people, but he was my best student. So I said, why is Mr. Lee a best student? Number one, because he was serious. A lot of people say, I
He
want to
wanted
learn
it,
meditation. They're interested, but they're not serious. Serious means you must take the time to persevere and to learn, So, for example, when I go and meet Mr. Lee to talk about meditation, he will ask for the discussion to be recorded. And then he would ask his secretary to transcribe the recording so that he can study the notes.
Wow.
And then he will come back with
Very
questions.
serious. Yeah.
I mean, that is really...
He's that kind of a person.
Yeah.
I mean, but what
Yes.
makes a good student is a willing student, right?
Yes.
And he
someone
was
who
very
wants to
humble.
learn.
He was very humble. Can you imagine, Mr. Lee? When
Yes.
he wants to learn something, he's very humble.
Serious about it.
He listens to the teacher, you see.
Yeah.
But the one thing which was very important was Mr. Lee's discipline. So after I taught him on several occasions, I was just wondering, if I'm not here meditating with him, is he doing it on his own? Because as Glenn knows in golf, practice is very important.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Practice is very important.
With everything, really.
So I asked him, I said, Mr. Lee, when I'm not here with you, do you meditate on your own? He says, of course. What's the point of learning
If
you
you're
don't
not
practice?
practicing.
Yes, that's
So I
very
said-
true.
So he says, I try to meditate every day, as you suggested.
Yeah.
So I said,
Wow.
wow. I said, out of every 10 students that I coach meditation, the survival rate is only 20%.
Wow.
Two out of 10.
Yeah.
But I said, Mr. Lee, you are extremely disciplined. And he looked at me and says, Kok Song, if I am not a disciplined man, our country will not be where it is today.
This is
That's
true.
very true.
Absolutely.
This is
yeah,
true.
that's very true.
And I'm sure he went on to guide many other people in meditation as well. And I know Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong meditates as well. And perhaps
okay.
maybe Lee Kuan Yew taught him how
Taught
to do
him
that.
as well.
What
yeah.
happened was, I think Mr. Lee was and this is public knowledge. I'm not saying anything.
Okay, yeah.
If you listen to to Prime Minister's Lee Hsien Loong's eulogy at the funeral of Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, so he spoke about how his father cared for him. So after the 2011 general election, Prime Minister was quite stressed because the result was, not what he had hoped for,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So Mr. Lee said, I'm going to ask my son to take up meditation again because I know he's undergoing a lot of stress.
Right.
So I really hope that Prime Minister can return to meditating because at the moment he's undergoing a lot
Stressful
of stress.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
Stressful
I saw him in
times, yeah.
Parliament yesterday.
Sympathize with him.
I saw him in Parliament yesterday. He looks 10 years older. And I just recently saw him. He looked, much better. But I think the recent events,
Yes.
I'm sure
Yeah.
he's
And I think all
he's been
Singaporeans
losing a lot of sleep
can
over that.
sympathize with him, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's
Absolutely.
where leadership is very difficult
Yeah,
position.
it's hard. It's
Yeah.
a very hard thing.
Because-
Many people take it for granted, but it
Yes.
is very, very, very difficult.
Because when you are the leader is quite often alone.
Yes.
Yes.
Who do you go to?
Because you're leading the way, right? And you can't see ahead of you. You have to make
Yes.
all these decisions
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
with people looking up to you as
Yeah.
well.
Yes.
So you know what? Back to the presidential elections. I've got so many questions,
Yeah.
right, for you. We'll I'll be asking you some of those questions,
Yes.
on the
On
radio when
air.
we go back there again. But When will you be able to get the certificate which confirms you as
Eligibility, right?
an eligible presidential candidate? Because I think many people are starting to get really, really impatient already.
Edgy,
We just want this to move on, you know?
know who's up there. So
Yeah.
when does this happen?
I too.
Right? Yeah. Which is why it's great you're on the show today because
So I will give your station, the privilege of knowing first
The
that
exclusive.
I submitted my application.
yeah.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Okay.
I submitted my application.
Okay.
And now I have to wait for the result.
And when? How long will that take?
Yes.
That
you
is
don't know.
for the commission to
Right.
decide.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
When is nomination day again? Sometime in.
It has not been decided.
Right.
The Prime Minister has got to announce. He has to issue what is called the writ of election, which kickstarts the whole
Election
procedure,
process, right, yeah.
So once the writ of election has been issued, we would know when is nomination day.
Right.
And usually 9 days after nomination day will be the election day.
Okay.
All
Okay.
right. Mr. Ong, we're going back on the radio. Okay, stand by. And that's your second song,
Yes,
Green Day.
Green
We'll ask
Day.
you why you chose that song. Okay, here we go. Green Day, Wake Me Up When September Ends, right here on The Big Show. You tuned in to Kiss 92. Our guest for this morning is presidential hopeful Mr. Ng Kok Song. Once again, good morning, Mr. Ng.
Good morning.
Good morning. We want to find out why that was your second song on your list of 3 songs. Why did you choose a Green Day song, specifically "Wake Me Up When September Ends"?
2 reasons. I have my daughter, my second daughter. She's now 33. But when I first encountered Green Day, she was about 15 years old.
Okay.
So she persuaded me to take her to the UK, where Green Day was performing.
Oh,
Wow.
In Milton Keynes, there's an arena.
Right.
So I took her there, and then I was trapped inside the arena.
Oh no.
I like how you say trapped.
Everybody was jostling, and I was being shoved all over the place. And I had to.
So it was just the two of you.
Well, it was 2 of us.
And
but
plus
huge
thousands of other
thousands
people.
of
of
yeah.
people, and
Yeah.
and there was Green Day, and there was Jimmy Eat World. Do you know Jimmy?
Yes,
Eat World?
Jimmy Eat
Of
World.
course.
Yes.
Love Jimmy Eat World.
So then the song was being played, and I really enjoyed it, and but why did I choose Wake Me Up?
When September
September
ends.
ends.
It's very specific, the month
Because
September.
September is the presidential
Yes.
election.
yeah.
So it's
So
as though
poignant.
right now it's as though I'm in a dream.
Yeah.
I'm a dream
Oh,
that
wow.
here I am, Kok Song, standing for the presidential election.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the dream of my life.
Wow.
This is the dream of my life, to be able to come to the people of Singapore to choose me as their president.
I mean, did you
Why
ever
would you
think?
Why would you make a good president, Mr. Ng?
Put him on the spot.
This is your
Because-
speech.
Yes.
Well, no, because I think most important thing is for the president to be authentic, to be himself. All right, not to pretend what you are not. All right, so to be able to connect with the people of Singapore, most important thing here is to unify the people of Singapore, because the unity of Singaporeans is our social treasure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We cannot take it for granted, you see. And that is why I chose the song from a distance, right? So I use the imagery, for example, of how you unify people. And that is to understand that, the different races, the different religions is like the 5 fingers of our hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you look at the top, at the surface, we are all separate, we're all different, but we are all connected.
Yeah.
If one finger is hurt, the whole palm feels the pain.
That is
Yes.
true.
All right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we might be separate and different, but if we go deeper within ourselves,
We are all.
we are all one.
Yeah. I
We are
love
all
that.
one. So I think the unity of Singaporeans, regardless of our differences, political views, we must stand united.
Race, language, or
That is
religion.
very
Yeah.
Yes, I love
So
that.
that's one of the reasons why I feel that it's important for me to do my best to keep our country united, because the president is a symbol of unity.
Absolutely.
So the president must rise above politics.
Yeah.
You see? So that's one reason. Second reason is that our reserves, the financial reserves of Singapore.
Well, you have experience with that.
Yes, I mean, I spent
42 years?
45 years.
45 years, yeah.
So I have a lot of experience, and I help to invest our reserves, have to build up our reserves, and I help to build up the GIC, as our manager of the reserves.
Yep.
So having spent a whole lifetime helping to build up the reserves, I do not want to see the reserves being squandered.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You see? Because the reserves are very important.
Yeah, for sure.
Strategically important for Singapore.
Yeah.
It is our defense in times of war.
Pandemic.
Our
Pandemic,
pandemic,
yes,
yeah.
held us through the pandemic.
And also, our reserves is the reason why our Singapore dollar is so strong.
Yeah.
People have confidence in the Singapore dollar. So for all these reasons, I feel that I have a contribution to make, to safeguard our reserves, to unify the people.
And I think why you're good is because you see the big picture.
Yeah.
Yes.
For someone who doesn't understand and becomes a presidential candidate who does not see the big picture
Just
and understand,
myopic vision, yeah.
then it puts the whole country
At jeopardy,
in danger as well.
No, that's why we have set quite high criteria for being certified eligible, and rightly so, because the job does require a certain level of financial competence,
Right.
to understand, as you say, the big picture.
Yeah.
Because these things are not that simple.
Right.
You see.
And you've worked with some of the people who are around. I know there's a lot of talk about the president shouldn't should be detached from the government and not be too close to certain members of but I really don't believe that. I believe you can still be friends.
Yeah.
And still have a mind of your own,
Yeah.
and I think
Indeed.
I think you have an advantage in that area because you know and above people. You know Mr. Taman.
Yes, of course.
You know
Yes.
Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong.
Yes.
Yes. And so I think with your charisma and you're so approachable, and I've spoken to a few presidents over the years before, and I don't usually compare, but you're very much like like Mr. S.R. Nathan. I was able to talk to him before. He was very approachable, and you're that kind of person,
because
Mr.
Man
Ang.
on the ground,
You'll be
yeah.
that kind
Because
of president.
I was a kampong boy.
Yeah,
Yes, we
you've gone
heard.
through it, and
Yeah.
you've built yourself up
That's
to
right.
to be in this position, so you can understand
Yeah.
people on the ground as well. Because
Yeah.
this you said it's like a dream for you, right? And
Yes.
I'm sure that is something that people will look up to you for as well, for sure.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got to play the next song, and this is John Lennon's "Imagine." This is something you've chosen as well.
Such a beautiful
Why did
song.
you choose this song, Mr. Ang?
You see, if you listen to the lyrics, it's very powerful. Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us. The only sky. What does that mean? No heaven, no hell. I think what Lennon was trying to convey to us is that all our life, we are working for rewards. Heaven. If I'm good, I go to heaven. If I'm bad, I go to hell. So you're driven by reward and punishment. That's not a happy life,
Yeah.
all right? So I think we have to do the best we can in whatever we do. But the reason why we do things is very important, all right? You should put your best effort into it and not say, I will only do it if I get reward. I will only do it because I'm scared to be punished.
That's incredible. So it's a show of character.
I
Really.
like that.
Yes,
Yeah, I love that.
So
That's
when I heard this song when I was young, I said, wow. So people thought this John Lennon is a hippie.
I mean,
Nothing
he
wrong
is
with
as
being-
well.
It was a new way of thinking.
Yes,
Right.
it was. It's an alternative way of
Yes.
thinking.
So
Yeah.
I was really quite inspired by John Lennon.
Nice.
Amazing songwriting.
Nice.
And great choice once again, Mr. Ang. This is John Lennon, Imagine, on KISS 92.
It really is such a beautiful song, but I've never thought of it in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are like humans driven by
rewards.
reward or punishment. And
Yeah.
I think
That's right.
like having neither of that really asks you who you are
That's
as a
right.
person. Because
Yeah.
if I don't have any of these things, what would I do
Yes.
without those incentives?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, because I think this is it causes a lot of stress,
Yeah.
even
When you're
for
constantly
children,
chasing.
And
Yeah.
even for
pressure
children
and
or
pressure,
people who are in executive positions, you know, and it's because a lot of the things you do is driven by the desire for money, the desire for control, the desire for power, you know, and then when those things don't happen, you get frustrated. You become sad.
Or if they do happen, then you keep wanting more and more and more, and
Exactly.
there's no end. That goal keeps
Exactly.
moving, right?
So what I mean to say is that quite often we are all looking for happiness. Everyone in the world is looking for happiness.
Yeah.
But we are looking for happiness in the wrong, places.
Yeah.
Don't you agree?
Yeah.
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 So that's where I think, you know, you have to go deep within yourself and, in other words, learn to be,
Yeah.
not to act. Not to act. Because once you act, you're no longer authentic.
Yeah.
You cannot be yourself. And I think a lot of the stresses that our children experience or we ourselves experience is due to the desire to conform
Yeah.
to what people expect of us
Yeah.
or what we would like people to think of us.
Yeah, I think growing up too, especially in Singapore, there's this whole idea of being rewarded, but you don't want to claim the compliments, and yet you still want to be in that position.
Yes,
so much
yes.
so that you end up losing yourself.
That's
and
right.
you know, tied in with your meditation, I think it's such a beautiful thing to be able to find who you are
Yes.
and work on that. Because when you are your authentic self,
Yes.
then you know where your baseline is. You know.
Yes. And I like the young people, especially the teenagers, in this world of social media,
Yeah.
to realize that,
Yeah.
you know, to find their self-worth. Not
Yeah.
to have their self-worth tied to what their friends say, how do I
Or what they
appear.
The
do.
likes
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
comments.
Social
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
that's so
think
powerful.
It's very important. Yes.
Yeah, it's a tough world that
It
the
is a
kids
very
live
tough
in
world we're
right
living
now.
in right
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think the whole world would benefit from meditating a little bit more and seeing everything in life as not being rewarded or punished, but
Yes.
rather who we are as a baseline. Because I feel like with all these distractions as well, you know, your
Yes.
phone, social media, texting, and communication, like we over communicate at this point sometimes. I
right.
feel.
And overshare.
And overshare.
Overshare.
Yeah.
Everything needs to be shared. What do you have for lunch? What do you have for dinner? What did your child do? You know, everything is
Yes.
online.
Yes.
Yeah.
yes.
We're running out of time,
Yeah.
so we've got this one song,
Okay.
and then we'll have to wrap and go to the news. So if you've got any other questions, you better ask Mr. Ng right
Yeah.
now.
Oh, it's been such a pleasure having you on the show.
Well, I really
I think
enjoyed-
I'd like to
Can
ask.
you invite me again?
Yes,
Of course.
absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely,
please.
absolutely.
Absolutely. Once now and once when you become president.
Yeah,
How about that?
Oh, great.
First show.
So,
First show when you
Mr.
become
Ng,
president.
I mean, as president, you will be offering people a vision, an aspiration to be an inspiration. But who inspires you, or who inspired you when you were growing up?
You know, people of my generation, there's no greater inspiration than the founding father of Singapore, Mr. Lee Kuan Yew.
Yeah.
Because of, we talk about leadership, all right? So the three qualities of leadership, you know, this self-sacrificing. It's not about himself. It's about Singapore. He lived his life for Singapore, all right? And then the will to lead. You can see his forcefulness,
Yes.
you know? And then finally
His
his
clarity.
clarity of vision. He had a vision of where he wants to take Singapore.
Yeah.
So here we are, we have to try to realize that vision that Mr. Lee has for Singapore. So he is my inspiration because he make all of us proud to be Singaporeans.
Okay, one
Okay,
second, Mr. Ng. Hold on, hold that
We'll
thought.
close on air.
That was beautiful.
Leonard Cohen with Anthem. Very quickly, Mr. Ng, because we've got a few other questions for you. Why did you choose this song as well?
There's a particular part of the song which I love very much. And it goes like, you know, ring the bells that still can ring. forget your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light comes in.
Wow.
No, why is that important?
I don't think I've listened to that song close enough.
Clearly
Wow.
not. Clearly not.
Because it's about persevering and not wanting to be perfect. Do the best you can. All right? So he says, ring the bells that still can ring. As long as the bell can ring, ring it.
Yeah.
Forget your perfect offering. So you say, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough.
It's okay.
But there's no such thing as perfect,
No.
right?
So there's a virus of perfectionism in life.
Yes.
You say, I won't do it unless I'm
virus.
perfect.
I love
Yeah.
it.
Right.
Right.
Virus of perfection.
I
What
love
a
it.
line.
So that is the danger. Then he says, there's a crack in everything. All of us have flaws.
Yeah.
We are all wounded.
Yeah.
But that's how the light comes in.
Yeah.
In
I
other
love
words, that's how we are healed.
Yeah.
You see?
And sometimes the best parts of us can only come out once we've gone through a tribulation,
crisis.
right? Yeah,
Through
through
a
a crisis.
All right, Mr. Ng, I've got one last question for you, and then we've got to let you go. So, what's the first thing you're going to do if you become president of the Republic of Singapore?
Come back to
Kiss 92!
Nice.
Correct answer, correct answer.
Open
to say
invitation.
thank you to the people of Singapore.
Open invitation.
I don't know whether we have time to show everyone that photo of Mr. Ng playing foosball just before the interview.
There you go.
You gotta go to our Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah,
That's
please.
Kiss 92
Just
FM.
Please tell us, did you win?
The 1-1.
1-1.
Oh, pretty good.
Oh,
Not
wow.
bad, not bad.
Nice, nice.
And our
nice.
GM is a pretty good foosball player as well. Wow, I say rematch. So next time you come back on Kiss 92, you have a rematch with our general manager as
Absolutely.
well.
Very
Okay.
Look forward
all-rounded.
to that.
All right. You know, we wish you all the very best, Mr. Ng. Thank you so much for
Thank
taking
you.
time to
Thank
come
you.
down to the Kiss 92 studio today.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Angel. Thank you, Daphne.
Oh, thank you for
very much.
inspiring us
Yes.
as well.
Right, and it's a deal, okay? Come back on
Come
Kiss
back, we'll
92.
see you.
We are
Yeah?
the
I look
first.
forward to that.
Okay.
you. Thank
We've been
you.
speaking to presidential hopeful Mr. Ng Kok Song right here on The Big Show.
Glenn, Angel, and the